Hello everyone, Curious Corduroy here, and today we are checking out another installment of the Games That Made Us, this time with Briana White, who is the voice of Aerith in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. And these videos are really cool because they usually sit down with developers, sometimes the voice actors from the games, and they just kind of talk about things that they like, their influences, their experience with Final Fantasy in particular. So there's always something cool to kind of check out when we watch these videos. So we're going to react to it and see what Briana White has to say. So if any of that sounds cool to you, you can click the like button, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. So if you are new here, the way this works, I watch, sometimes I pause a little too much, and I react. If that bothers you, I always leave links in the description down below to the full video you guys can check out without my dumbass yapping over it. But let's get started. All right. Oh, we got the Aerith music.
Hi everyone, my name is Briana White, and
Hi.
you may know me as the voice of Aerith in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
First video game you ever played?
The very first video game I can remember playing was King's Quest. I would sit on my mom's lap and she would play, and she would actually have to enter text prompts to tell your character what to investigate next. That was the first game I can remember at all, but the first game I actually played, like myself, was The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Sick.
And that game was amazing because my whole family played it. And we would sit on the couch and my mom would take a turn and she would go through some of the more challenging puzzles. And then we would get to a mini game and I would give it a try, and then my sibling would give it a try. And then we would all go eat dinner, and we would leave the game playing in the background. And so the music of Ocarina of Time is like the music of my childhood memories.
That's super cool. To have a parent that plays video games like that introduced her to gaming, is sick. And I believe, if I remember correctly, Briana has mentioned in other interviews that her YouTube/Twitch channel initially was her and her brother. But then her brother either lost interest or he had to go off and do stuff, and it became her channel. And that's where she still streams today. She's, I think, still playing through Rebirth and on YouTube and Twitch, and just hanging out with the community and getting through the game when she's not doing panels or working on the games themselves. But that's such a cool experience for her to remember. I tried to get my parents to play video games before, and it was Halo. It didn't work out well. My mom couldn't move and turn the camera at the same time. My dad was shooting the wall and thought he was doing well, so I let him think he was doing well. So there's that. Most memorable streaming experience?
I have so many memorable streaming experiences, but I don't think I'll ever forget seeing my character in Final Fantasy VII Remake for the very first time.
Here, this is for you.
Huh? A flower?
That's right. It's a gift. You know, for scaring those things away.
It had so many layers. I was amazed that that was really my voice and that they didn't secretly recast me as I was convinced they were going to do, which does happen sometimes. So I was amazed that it was actually me. And then I was remembering how long ago we had recorded those lines. And I was also cognizant of the fact that instead of streaming to about 100 people like I usually did, there were about 8,000 people watching me, which was a lot. It was very overwhelming. But I tried to just focus on this moment of hearing myself in a game for the very first time. I will never, ever forget that.
That was a really cool point in time. I remember at this point, the game had kind of gone dark, and then it did come back, and we got that brief little trailer, and people were noticing the voices are a little different. Is it the same cast? It would then come out that it was a completely new cast, and a lot of people were kind of apprehensive, but then you hear the work from the voice actors in the game, and it's like, oh, don't be worried at all. These people are good. They know what they're doing. And specifically, I remember that video that Briana mentioned just blowing up of her seeing herself, well, hearing herself in the game for the first time has to be such an insane experience to have. And then to have it with thousands of people watching you is nuts. I think her work as Aerith is phenomenal. I think she's probably my favorite interpretation of Aerith, with my second being Mandy Moore. I thought Mandy Moore actually did a pretty good job as Aerith in the Kingdom Hearts games, although I think she was only Aerith in the first Kingdom Hearts. I think someone else took over in the second one, but I don't recall who. But Briana does such a wonderful job voicing this character. And again, I think this was like her first voiceover role, much like Cody Christian. And there's really great parallels between the both of them because you hear the growth in their performance from remake to rebirth. And they just both knock it out of the park. But that was just such a sweet moment to witness as a fan, to see like the community like rallying behind her and being like, yo, this is pretty cool.
I could not have gotten through many years of my life without Final Fantasy XIV. I am a huge Final Fantasy XIV player. I started off as a black mage way back when, and then now I'm a red mage main ever since Stormblood. And I've gotten all the way caught up to Endwalker. I haven't gotten to Dawn Trail yet, but I'm really looking forward to it because it just looks so fun. I love that game, and it's such a comfort game for me, which is one of the reasons why I've never streamed it. It's a game that I keep just for myself, and it's gotten me through some really hard times in my life because I could always log into the game and escape for a little bit and do something that made me feel like I was skillful and getting better and growing as a player. And it's just really special to me.
That's pretty cool. I myself have only dabbled in Final Fantasy XIV. I'm not really into MMOs as much as I love Final Fantasy. They just don't really like pull me in. And I feel like they're super overwhelming. I see people play 14 online and there's like hundreds of icons on the screen and they're just clicking away and I have no clue what's happening. But that's cool that she mentions the whole like comfort game and how she doesn't want to play that like on stream because that's special. And I've seen so many content creators who they're so used to streaming on Twitch or making content for YouTube that it gets to a point where they can't sit and play by themselves anymore because it feels weird. They're so used to having a chat there, or they're used to having the camera there to then turn it into something for YouTube. So I completely get that. I think that's one of the reasons why I don't really do like Let's Plays myself, is because I don't feel like I'm entertaining enough to like hold someone's attention with the Let's Play.
Ah! Oh, my heart.
So I might just do like small gameplay stuff here and there, but like another comfort game for me, I would say, is like Ghost of Tsushima. I can jump back into that world at any point in time and just ride around on the horse and just have so much fun. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Fondest memory.
I have so many fond memories of playing Square Enix games because Square Enix makes some amazing, amazing games.
Oh yeah.
But again, I have to give it to an Aerith moment. I mean, seeing my name in the end credits of Final Fantasy VII Remake and Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, just seeing my name as part of the creative process of a piece of entertainment and art that I would love to play even if I wasn't a part of it, that's really special. To be a fan of games and then to see my name in the credits of a game, that's really, really amazing. I still get really emotional when I think about it.
That's gotta be so cool. Oh, one soundtrack. Ooh.
If I could only listen to one Square Enix track for the rest of my life, I have to give it to the Final Fantasy VII main theme. It is so epic and sweeping and emotional. It's so beautiful that I would love to listen to that for the rest of my life. An honorable mention, of course, would be Aerith's theme, but that just makes me so emotional that I would never stop crying. So I'll give it to the main theme.
Actually, I think I agree with her. The main theme of Final Fantasy VII literally tells the story of Final Fantasy VII in song form from beginning to end. You have that really soft opening. It becomes big and hopeful, and then it gets dark, like super dark and eerie. And then you come out the other end of that, and it's like this big moment in the song, and then it loops over again, which is super cool. Uematsu-san is so good at crafting these tracks, and what he left in 7 is insane. So I would agree with her, but also Aerith's, but for the same reason. For the longest time, I could not listen to Aerith's theme without just straight up crying. And I think a lot of it is just like the piano aspect of like some of the newer versions of the song, and it just triggers those memories of when I was a little kid and Aerith died, and then I was forced to fight Genova and try to pick the commands while I'm just bawling my eyes out. Great choices. Oh, speaking of.
Life is Strange is the first Square Enix game I ever streamed. And Life is Strange has a lot of really emotional moments. And towards the end of the game, there's 2 main endings, and you get to pick. You as the player get to pick which one you want to play through. And I immediately, when faced with an impossible choice, chose the one that would make me feel better. But because I was streaming it, my chat asked me to react to the other one. And that scene broke my heart into 5 million tiny pieces. I have never been the same since, because you spend the entire game trying to avoid that ending, and then you have to accept it. And that is just brutal, just brutal.
I didn't play Life is Strange, but I watched a few people play through, and I saw the ending of that game. And from what I remember, there's like that big tornado, which they show here in the video. I think you have to choose between like saving the town and saving a person, I think is what it ends up being. But yeah, that's brutal. Stuff like that changes you. And I know people make fun of video games like, oh, it's just video games. But no, this stuff sticks with you. Again, the death of Aerith from the original FF7 to this day still sticks with me. As being like one of the most standout, saddest moments in not just a Square Enix game, but a Final Fantasy game. Honorable mention goes to the ending of Final Fantasy VIII, where, spoiler alert, I've just spoiled so much already, Squall is basically wandering through time, lost, and he just gives up. He falls down, he collapses, and Rinoa is still searching for him, and she finds him, she grabs him, and then you see like the broken down desert area turn into like beautiful flowers. Great moment. Funniest moment.
Final Fantasy has some pretty funny moments, but some of them are unintentional. The most recent one that comes to mind is when the main party in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is following these robed figures, and a bridge is up, so they can't get to where they want to go. And as they're, zombily walking towards this bridge and realizing they can't get to where they are feeling called to walk, they decide, well, I'll just keep going. I'm not gonna stop because the bridge is out. And they just jump. They just fall. They don't even jump, they just fall off of the bridge into the water. And I don't know why, but that was so funny to me. Just seeing these poor souls feeling called to go, and nothing's gonna stop them, and they'll swim if they have to. It was so unexpected, and it just cracked me up. I kind of expected them to like be huddled along the cliff's edge, just like wondering what to do next, and nope, they said, I'm going. And that was so funny to me. I died laughing, my face was red, I couldn't speak, I had the giggles for the rest of the stream. I don't know why, but that was so funny to me.
I don't think it was supposed to be like intentionally funny, but that is a really funny moment whenever you just see the black robes just show up, and there's, like Briana said, they are so determined to get to where they need to be. They will swim there if they have to. They do it again in Nibelheim, where they just start trying to walk through the water, and it's like, what are you guys doing? Like, you're that dedicated. But yeah, I think I gasped when the first robe fell into the water, and then I laughed when the other one followed him. And I'm like, it's probably not supposed to be funny, but it's such a goofy image. Honorable mention for me goes to the video game Condemned Criminal Origins 2. The opening cutscene has the main character in a bar, and he's drinking liquor in a glass, and he puts the empty glass on the bar, and for whatever reason, he just gets really mad, stands up, and then slaps the glass, but there's no sound effect. There's no sound effect to play when he hits the glass or when it falls and breaks. It's just this awkward animation of him hitting glass and then nothing. So that's one of the ones that I remember a lot because it's just so goofy. Proudest career achievement and why?
I think my proudest career achievement is that I'm still here. I've wanted this my whole life, and it is not easy. It is a really tough competitive industry filled with a lot of no or even just complete silence. A lot of the times as actors, we don't even get told no. We just do an hour's worth of work and we send it off via email.
Ghosted.
And it's called an audition and then we never hear back and we have to just forget about it. And then we do that over and 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 over again. And sometimes it's too much and people can't handle it and then they just go get another job that is easier and safer and has health insurance. But for me, I feel incredibly lucky that I'm still here and I'm still trying because this is what I love to do. I love telling stories. I love sharing these characters with all of you and I want to keep doing it. And so even though it's not been easy, I'm still here and I'm still acting and I'm really proud of that.
It's always nice to see success stories, especially when people have been working at it for so long and they finally get that big break and then things kind of start to fall in line for them. Like I've always wanted to pursue acting and even like voice acting, but I know it's like Briana said, super tough. And it's like, where do you even begin to start something like that? But the way she describes it of like when you really enjoy something so much, that's what you want to do, you know? And I did 2 years of acting in high school and it scared the crap out of me. And for someone who's an introvert and has a lot of anxiety, why would I want to be an actor? It just creates way more of that stuff. But it's like she said, being able to like bring characters to life and share those moments with people is super fun, super cool. And I remember like the reactions I got when I did like my first play in high school, like my first one act is what it was called. Like people really enjoyed it and said I was good. So I don't remember anything because I blacked out, but it was fun. So, you know, that's something I'd like to pursue one day. Ooh, most proud of.
I'm incredibly proud of what we've achieved. I've now played Aerith in 3 games, Final Fantasy VII Remake and Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And being able to tell her story throughout many different points in time and many different versions of where her character is, I'm incredibly proud of that because we all see ourselves in her. And we see a girl who started off as quiet and soft and gentle, who's had a really, really tough childhood, but then we get to see her kind of bloom like a flower and come to life and be playful and sassy and not take no for an answer and never give up and form friendships that she's always wanted but never had growing up. I think we all see ourselves in her and I'm very proud that I've been able to portray her in a way that might bring a little bit of light to your life. I'm incredibly proud of my castmates. I feel very, very lucky that I get to know them and spend time with them and watch them grow as people and as actors. They are such incredibly talented actors that have so much to teach and they give me so much inspiration, but also they're just really good people. Like on the inside, like deep inside, they are really good people inside and out. And I'm incredibly proud of them and I'm lucky to know them. The other thing that I'm proud of with these projects is that it's been really hard times for the world while we've been producing these. And that carries a weight for everyone creating, right? I mean, we, you know, are creating these beautiful stories and these characters in this fantastical world and these beautiful settings. But we're people once we, you know, go home for the day after work is done. And it's been really hard, you know, the past few years for so many reasons. But we've kept going too, because we are grounded in the fact that you all deserve the best game possible, the best games possible. And that keeps us going every day. Even when it's really hard for us to create, you all keep us going. So a huge thank you to all of you for all of your kind words. It is truly motivation for us. And so I'm proud of that. I'm proud that we're still doing what we can do. We're still doing our best to create the best game possible for all of you, even when it's hard. I think that's really, really worthwhile.
Oh, that was it. I was so enthralled with what she was saying. She's gonna make me cry. She says it so perfectly there at the end. Like, the world sucks right now, man. You turn on the news, there's something crappy happening every single day. You feel like, what's the point? You kind of lose a lot of hope. But then stuff like this comes around, and it provides a pretty nice big escape for so many of us. And with 7 Remake and Rebirth, like, she hit the nail on the head. Everyone on this cast is so damn good in their roles, in what they do, and they all seem like genuinely cool people too. Very kind and caring, and really love actually like interacting with the community, the nice part of the community at least. And like, it's gotten to the point for me where like I now associate these voices with these characters. It's kind of hard to go back to anything else. As much as I love like Steve Burton as Cloud, Cody Christian is like Cloud to me now. Briana is now Aerith, so on and so forth. Everyone is just phenomenal. And again, for these games to really just kind of provide an escape, if it's like, even if it's for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, it's cool. And you really need that. You need like that refresher of like, I just want to tune out everything else that's happening right now. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to spend some time with these cool people, and we're going to go on an adventure and do some cool stuff. Final Fantasy 15 was kind of like that for me, because I was going through a rough ass time when I first played that game. And just sitting down for like an hour and a half, 2 hours with Noctis and the Choka Bros and just playing and forgetting about the world and any issues and just like zoning in on that and having fun. It's almost kind of medicinal in a way. So I know it might sound kind of weird or kind of extreme, but like, yeah, that's what gaming can do for a lot of people. And so many of us rather out there love Final Fantasy, and we love 7. And there's obviously people that don't care for the remake trilogy, but there's a lot of us that really love it and enjoy it. And we appreciate all of the hard work that the actors are putting into the characters, but the directors, the writers, the producers, the people developing the game, they all work really hard on this series in particular, because they know how important it is, and they want to get it right and to make sure that it's the best it can possibly be. So with that being said, that was the video. I love watching stuff like this. Anytime like the cast gets involved with doing these interviews and they just kind of get to reveal a little bit more about themselves, I think is a really good time. With that being said, again, that is the video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. I'm gonna go sit down and cry because Briana made me a little emotional there at the end. But I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.